Okay guys, once you have your drawing, do not forget to add a snowball. Okay, you just need to add one. Doesn't need to be very big. And I'm going to go here to layers and name that snowball. Okay, make sure you don't have any other extra layers. You don't need a background color. Okay, you just want the globe here. So now we're ready. We're going to save that as on your computer. Make sure you know where you save it. I'm saving mine to my downloads. It's going to be called Snow Globe. And save. Yes, I want to replace it. Okay. Now you can just minimize that, and we're going to open After Effects. Now let's create a new composition. We want to name this something different than Snow Globe because we already have, it's going to be confusing if we have two Snow Globe files. So I'm just going to put SG animation. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to change this to custom. And we're going to make sure this is unchecked. Okay, not checked. And we're going to custom again. And 1080 by 1080. Okay, if it's not letting you change both of those 1080, then check this. Okay, we're going to change our frame rate to 30 frames per second. And we want our duration to be 6 seconds. Okay, so make sure you have all of that changed and you can click OK. Now we're going to import our image. So I'm going to right click and import file. Here's my download file, Snow Globe AI. Make sure it says AI. You want to come here and change this. So import as, we're going to change it to composition retain layer sizes. Okay, go ahead and click import. Okay, so this is this file, the SG animation. This is my Illustrator file. So I'm going to grab the one that says composition and I'm going to go ahead and drag it down here. And now this should fit. Now we need to add a background color. So we're going to do that by pressing Control Y. You can name this background if you'd like. You can go and select this and then make it a different color off of that. That's what I would do. I'm just making mine a darker blue than what that is. Click OK and OK. Now we just want to move that down below our snow globe. So first thing we want to do is on our snow globe layer, press S to scale that down so that it fits here. Okay, next thing we want to do is grab this pan behind tool. And you see this little anchor point here in the middle. We want to bring that down to the bottom of our globe, sort of in the middle there. Okay. Now, we're going to test this out. So here on the snow globe, go ahead and push R for rotation. And come and rotate this, make sure it rotates. Now what you kind of want to see is how far over, like I don't think it's going to be rotated this far, so we should be good. We just want to make sure our globe stays in the frame. And I think it will. Okay, so then you can undo changes on that. It works fine. Now, if for some reason when you move it like barely, if it's already outside the composition, then you want to come and scale it down more, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to double click this snow globe and it'll open up a little file here where we can see that. And we want to hide our snowball. Then we're going to come back to our snow globe animation. And you can see here that, so what we're going to do is we're going to come here to 1 second and we're going to move this blue line there to 1 second. Then I'm going to move this to 3 seconds, and I'm going to move this blue line here. Well, I want this at 3. I don't know why it won't do it. Move this one to 1. So we're going to go to 3.5, which is somewhere around here. Okay, sorry. Okay, so for our snow globe, we want to see the rotation and the position. You can see if we switch one, it's going to switch it out. So we're going to press R and then Shift P, and that'll open up rotation and position, which is what we're going to be changing for the animation. One good habit to get into is to constantly save your work. So let's go ahead and save this. Put it in your downloads, or just know where you put it. I'm just going to name mine Snow Globe Animation and click Save. Okay, and then every once in a while you're working, just save your progress. Okay, so go ahead and bring your playhead to 1:1:11, sorry. So right here you can see exactly where I'm at. That's where you can tell if you're on the right one. Okay, now we're gonna hit the keyframes here for position and rotation. Okay, so now we're gonna move our playhead over to 1:17. Check right here, make sure you're in the right spot. And we're gonna change our rotation to -20. Okay, so now we're gonna go to 1:19. And we're going to change the position. So I'm going to raise, I don't know what size is this. Okay, I'm gonna move this over to the left. And I'm gonna go over about 20 notches or so. Now our numbers are probably not the same. So if you wanted to, you could kind of, whatever number you had here, you could subtract 20. Okay, but you don't have to. You just kind of move it over a little bit. Okay, then I'm gonna move it up quite a ways. It's about 80 notches. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to go over to 129. And I'm going to change the rotation here to 0. Then we want to raise this up higher and move it over a little bit this way. The only thing I'm noticing here is maybe I did not zoom out enough. So let me look at that. But once I get like all these keyframes made, then maybe I can zoom it out a little bit more and see if that doesn't mess everything up. Okay, so now we're going to go to 207. And we're going to move it a little bit to the right and a little bit down. Okay, just kind of when you view it, it should just make sure it looks kind of like it's going around in like a circular motion there. Okay, now we're going to go to 215. And we're going to change this rotation to 20. Uh-oh. So that's not good. Okay, so from there, let's see. I need to go back out to the beginning. Let's go all the way back to 0. And let's go ahead and just put the scale. I need to make this smaller. Okay, and let me see what that did to my animation. Okay, I think it is fine. Okay, so now I need to bring this back. So I'm going to press R and then Shift P to bring up these again. Okay, so I'm here. I just changed this to 20. Now it's not going out of the frame, which is good. I'm going to come up back here a little bit and just raise this up a little bit. So then it goes from down. Okay, so on this frame, the 215, I'm going to change this to 10. See, I feel like it goes back. It goes too high. To here. Where are we at? So height here is 842. Goes to 854. Okay, back at 215. Okay, so then let's go to 219. And we're going to bring this down a little. And then we're going to go to 224. And from here, we'll move this over a little bit to the left and a little bit down. Probably want to look at that. Okay. So actually for this one here at 224, we're going to select both of these. Control C to copy those, and then here your playhead should still be over here. We're going to do Control V, that pastes those right back in the spot. It looks okay, but I think maybe, let's see, I think maybe from here to here, maybe it needs to be brought down a little bit more. Let's see. Okay, I think that's fine. Okay, so now let's go to 225, which is just one over from here, and we're going to move this rotation keyframe over to 225. Okay. Okay, so now what we want to do is hit this graph editor button here. So we're going to click and drag over these. And we're going to select this one here that looks like kind of curved. And it says convert selected keyframes to auto visor. I don't know if that's how you say that. Go ahead and click that, and that kind of curves those out. Let's go ahead and go back to here, our keyframes. And I honestly don't remember what it looked like before, but this should help it like smooth out the our little curved animation part that we created. Another thing we can do is come look at this here. You can edit these, but the way that it looks, like I'm not even sure I want to mess with this too much. Okay, so now what we're going to do is make like a shadow here for our snow globe when it comes up. So make sure that nothing is selected. Get your shape tool, change it to the click and hold down, maybe ellipse tool. You want to get rid of the stroke and maybe get a fill color a little bit darker than your background. Okay, then we're just going to click and drag to make like this shadow shape here. And you want to put that where you cannot see it when the globe is in the front position. So like right here. Then you can adjust it if you need to. I'm going to go ahead and come and rename this shadow. Okay, so with the shadow selected, grab this pan behind thing again, and we want to grab the anchor point and put it here at the bottom of the shadow, okay? Okay, so looking at this, I think maybe let me go back here. I'm going to go ahead for this. I want to see the position and the scale, so I'm going to press S and then Shift P to see both of those. I'm going to go ahead and just want to scale this side out a little bit. Make it a little wider, about right here maybe. Okay. And I'm going to go to that first keyframe here that we made, which is right there. First thing we want to do before we do this position scale, we want to change the opacity so that we're able to kind of see through it a little bit. Just anything above 50%. Okay, and then we'll move over to the first keyframe that we made, which is here at 111. We're going to come back here, press S, not A. Press S and then Shift P to open scale and position. Let's go ahead and insert a keyframe there on both of those. And then we're going to come over to the second frame here that we made, or second keyframe, and adjust this. So I'm going to first move this over a little bit to the left because it's moving to the left, and then I'm going to extend this out a little bit here. Okay, so then, then we are back here where we went to the top, and we will just, where are we at? Up here, we're going to select these two, Control C, and then press Control V, and they'll paste right there on top of this one. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save my progress. And okay, so then we want to just move this over a little bit so we'll mess with the position, not that way. And then we will expand the scale out a little bit that way. So you're just trying to get that kind of even. Then you might have to go and change this again. I think here maybe, oh, nope. Okay, so then we'll go to this next one right here, and we need to move the position over a little bit. And then we'll scale it in a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to come over to this keyframe. Make that a little bit smaller. Move it over a little bit. Maybe that does not need to be as dramatic. Then we'll come here where it lands. And we'll copy these frames that we have here. So select those, Control C to copy, and then Control V. It'll paste them right here. And then let's go ahead and move this shadow below our snow globe. So just kind of look at that and see if there's any necessary changes that you need to make. Okay. Okay, now just click on the graph editor here, and we're going to select all of these again, and we want to click this one for the auto visor. Don't want to mess with them too much. Okay, so I'm just gonna click back over here. Okay, so then the last thing you want to do with your shadow is just make sure that you have the opacity the way you wanted it, because we did first just change it so we could see through it. I think I'm kind of fine with mine. I don't want it to be super dark. If I make it much darker. Okay, I'm going to save my progress so far. Okay, so now we'll come to this snow globe panel here. Now what we want to do is we want to do this. I'm going to move my playhead here to 1, and I'm going to move these like I did on the other one. So at 1 and at 315. So you can check here what your number's at. Okay. Okay, so we're going to come over here and we're going to find, I have my globe outline. This is not going to be animated. So right here where it has that purple color for the globe outline, I am going to make that red, and I'm going to lock that layer because we're not animating that layer. Then I'm going to come down, and for sure I'm not animating the snow. So I'm going to make that one red, and I'm going to lock that layer. Then I have my globe and the base. We can also make those red and lock those layers. Okay, so we're going to come to this first part of the scarf, which is around the neck. I'm going to right click and do pre-compose, and we want to change it to move all attributes into the new composition, And then we can name this, I'm going to just name it Scarf Neck because it's the part of the scarf that's on the neck. And click OK. Okay, then we're going to come do the same thing here for Scarf 2. This one is behind, so I'm going to right click and pre-compose. It saved our selection here, and I'm just going to put Scarf Behind. Okay. Then I'm going to go here to Scarf 3, pre-compose, Scarf Front. Okay. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is right now all of these are like a tan color. I'm going to select everything that is a part of my sloth, and you can do whatever is a part of your animal that you created. So I have like the hat, which starts here, the hat tip, the hat, face, arm, leg, body, leg. All of these I'm going to switch to a color to represent my sloth. Okay, and these are already that color, so I'm going to leave that. Okay, then I'm going to go to the part for the tree, which my bulb and my light bulbs are on the tree. I'm going to turn those green. You can do whatever color. And my limb and my trunk. Okay, so now we're going to make some markers. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this over similar to what we did down here. Okay, we're going to go to, if we go back here, we know we have keyframe here at 111. So here I'm going to go to 111. And select this marker and put it right there at 111. Okay, then our next one is 117. I'm at 117. I'm just going to move this marker here to 117. The next one we have is at 129. So back over here, get the marker. Oh, I need to move it first. Oh yeah, I'm at 129. Am I? Yes. Okay, this one here is at 207. So once we move it here, it automatically stays. We don't have to find it on here. Move that marker to 207. Then we have 215. Move that marker, 215. Okay, so we had that 5. We're going to skip over that one and bring it here where it ends at 225. And then we'll bring that last marker there. Okay, so now we want to bring our playhead to this first marker that we have, and we're going to mess with whatever your object is that's standing here. Okay, so for mine it's the tree trunk. I'm going to click on this dot here for the trunk so I can just see the trunk. I don't know why those are connected. I did not click you. Thank you. Okay, so again, make sure you're on that first marker. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, and I'm going to get the puppet warp. I don't know if it's called puppet warp. Puppet position pin tool, okay? So I'm going to make a point here. I'm going to make one here. Maybe one right here because it's kind of bent there. One here and one here at the bottom, okay? Okay, so if you come here to whatever your object is and you want to go down to mesh 1, deform, and you can see all the pins that we just dropped, right? Right. What we want to do now is when our objects are kind of moving with our snow globe, the bottom of the trunk's really not going to move, but we needed pins there because if we didn't have pins there to keep it in place, all of it would still move. So what we're going to do is we're just going to focus on these first 2 points. So I'm going to open up my puppet pin 5 and 4. And there's already a keyframe there set. If it's not blue, then you need to press it to set it. So now we'll move to this second marker that we have here. And that's the wrong one. So I don't need those. I need the first two, sorry. Puppet pin 1 and 2, that would make sense. I started up here. Okay. So I'm just going to move that over a little bit and move that over a little bit. Maybe I need to move 2 first. Boom. Boom. Okay. So we're here where it's up now. So this is where it stretches up a little bit. So then here, the third one, we'll move these up. You can do this here with your mouse. Okay, then we'll go here to 4. This is when it goes to the right. Let me move this bottom one first. Okay, so real quickly, we're going to select these 2 frames here. Hold shift, move those over. We're skipping 4 for now. We're going to go to 6 where it lands back at the front. And for that, we'll copy and paste these. So select those, Control C, then Control V to paste those there. Okay, so it should be a pretty subtle movement there. Now my object has another object attached to it. Yours may or may not have this. If it doesn't have this, then you don't need to worry about this part. But let's say you have, like one of the examples had a palm tree. Well, the palms are attached to it. I don't know. So you might not have to do this next part. It just depends on your drawing. I'm going to turn these things back off. Okay, let me collapse this. And which other one? I have the limb on. Okay. I'm going to go here to the animation so I can see it. And then we can kind of look at how they move. And you can see it is very subtle. So I think it looks okay for now. So we'll see how the rest goes. So go back to here to snow globe. Okay, so next I will need to go and do my lights. So if you have anything else on your tree, or I'm sorry, you don't have to have a tree, but if you have anything else going on with your object, you'll need to go ahead and do the same thing for those. Okay, so now I'm going to turn on my animal. So I'm just pushing these dots here to turn all that on. And I'm going to go ahead and turn on the hat. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. And I guess I'll put on the scarf. Okay. So what we need to do first is what we need to look at is all these individual parts. Let me go back to my leg. Front. So right now you can see where this point is. That's how it would be rotated. So we need to get this little tool here, I forget what it's called, pan behind, and move that to kind of like where you want that, where it would rotate from. So if I push R here, you can see that that's kind of where that rotates. That might not be exactly where I'd want it. I'm going to go to this one, and I'm just going to see kind of how that rotates. And I might move it down just a little bit. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, if you have anything like this, let's see. Okay, we're going to find my the hat tip, and we're going to parent that hat tip to the hat. Of course, this is not going to be the same for you. You might not have everything the same. Then my hat to my hat white. And then my hat white to my face. Then my face to my body, because I don't have a neck. Okay, so let me show you what that kind of does now. So if I were to select just the body and I rotate it, that you can see now the head and the hat are rotating with the body. So then we, depending on how your character is, so if most of you are not going to have a hanging character like I do, so your legs will probably be stationary and they probably won't move, or they're attached to your body already. So you probably don't have to do this part, but I'm going to go ahead and parent my legs to my body. To body. Okay, so now if I get my body and it's all rotating together. So again, for you, this is not gonna be the same. All of my little legs and arms are probably gonna be moving a little bit, but yours might not be. So for all of these here at this first one, our first marker, we're going to insert a keyframe for all of these here in case we need to move them. Okay. Again, if you know it's not going to move, you don't have to put one there. Okay, so then we'll move over to the next one, and we know right here is where everything, and you can look back at your other object. So where everything kind of shifts to the left. Okay, so we're going to start moving these to the left. You might not have to move every single one of them. So first thing I'm going to do is move my body a little bit to the left. Okay, just a little bit. And because I moved that, that means I really don't have to adjust the legs too much. But I'm going to have to do my arms because they were not parented. So I'm going to move my arm a little bit to the left and my other arm still a little bit to the left there. And let's see, my hat tip a little bit to the left. So maybe my face a little bit to the left. Okay. Okay, so then on the third marker, this is where it goes to moving up. So we want to move everything up a little bit. So here at my body, just up a little there. Okay, so then we skip 4, go to 5. Okay, so at this point, we go to the right. So again, I'm going to start with my body, move a little bit to the right. Okay, then I'm going to go to my last one here at 6. So then here at this one, this is where everything should be the same again. So selection tool. Thought there was an easier way. I don't remember if I did this, how I did this last time. Okay, so I'm going to select all those, Control C, Control V. Uh-oh. Okay, so here, I guess instead, we're just going to have to go and change all these back to 0. Okay, that did that for that. Okay. And then I want to make sure that I did these two. So I have, I don't know, can I do this? Copy. Paste. Okay. Copy, paste. Okay. Copy, paste. Okay. Okay. So now we'll get ready to do the scarf. So I'm going to go here to the scarf. Let's see. Is this on the right? Let me move this. Okay. So this one is the one behind. I just moved it behind it, and that's going to be parented to the scarf that's on the neck. And I think even the one on the front is going to be on the scarf on the neck. Now yours might be different. It just depends how you drew it, okay? So if you haven't done so lately, go ahead and save your progress. Always good to do that. Okay, so now what we want to do here at marker 1, we want to select probably the scarf that you have here in front. And we will get the... Why do I have that open? Okay, the scarf you have in front, we're going to get the puppet tool here. Puppet tool? What is it called? Yeah, puppet position. And we'll make some points here. We'll do one at the top. Maybe do, depending on how long it is, I'm going to do about 4 here. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and hide, take that off for now. And take off the neck. So I can just see this one. I'm going to select my scarf behind and do the same thing here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And I can turn these back on. I'm going to get my selection tool. Okay, so real quickly, I do want to parent my scarf neck, I think, to my face. So I'm going to parent that to my face and just go ahead and kind of see if that will move that along with that. So that's good for that. So I don't have to worry about animating the neck part. I'll just be moving these now. So you can go ahead and drop these, what is it, the mesh one and the deform for these pins. The only thing is, I cannot remember which pin. I think it starts, so one is at the top. Why can't I see them? Oh, I don't want to mess with the top. I'll be messing with the bottom. So maybe 3 and 4 is what you'll need. And then down here on the one behind, same thing. So I'm going to go here to mesh, deform, 3 and 4. Anyway, so at 1, they're still. At 2, this is where we move. Everything moves to the left. So I'm going to stretch it out. So I'm going to move this to the left. If it starts looking stretched, you might want to just, I'm moving pin 3. Okay. You can also move this one to kind of get it not so stretched. Okay, and let me go ahead and move this one. So I only moved pin 4. I didn't even touch pin 3. Because I don't really think it needs it that much. So then you can go back and just make sure you can see the change there, that it's moving. Okay, now I'm going to go to 3. This is where it goes up. So I'm going to go back to this one first. Nope, I don't want that. Make it go up. And this one I might need to move 3. Okay, and then back down here. Okay, and whoa. Up. Needed to go up. Thank you. And let's see. Okay, and then at 4, it goes to the right. Everything needs to go to the right. I'm going to move this one first. Oh, not that way. To the right. Nope. To the left. Going up. To the right. Maybe you move this one down a little bit more. To the right. Okay. Oh, I skipped 4. So I need to move these frames. Let's see. These 2. I need to move these to 5, which is right here. Where are my other ones? This one up here to 5. Did I not change the other one? Oh no, there it is. Okay. Okay, and then at 6, should just be a duplicate of these. So I'm gonna grab these, Control C, Control V. And then, you know what? I don't know if I need to do these. Okay, no. Control C, Control V. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Okay, so now we need to create the particles. So what we're going to do is go to Layer, New, Null Object. That should pop up right here. If you haven't already, go ahead and turn all these off so that everything will, or should reappear, I believe. Or is it the other way around? I'm not sure. You can also collapse these. Maybe it's the other way around. Are they all supposed to be on? Okay, there we go. So if you turn them off, then they all come on. Okay, so get to where you can see your globe. Go back up here to this null, and we're going to move this down to about right here. So about the middle of where your globe, middle bottom area of your globe. Okay, so now we'll move our playhead here to this 1. And we're going to open up the position, so press P for position. At 1, you want to insert your keyframe here for position, then go to 2. Now we're going to move this over here, kind of to the left bottom, about somewhere right there. Okay, so now we'll go over to 3. And we're going to move this up kind of towards the top right. Okay, then go over to 5. And we're going to move this down to the right side. Okay, then I'm going to go to here to 6. I'm going to go and copy this one and paste it here, and then it should complete that little loop there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to get, we're going to, up here where it has the pen tool, just hold it down and you're going to change it to Convert Vertex Tool. I'm just going to kind of zoom in here. And I'm going to click here on the, whoa. I'm going to click and drag here on this one, and I'm just going to bring this out. You can see how it starts to curve a little more. So I'm just going to move these handlebars. I'm going to go do the same thing here. So I'm going to click and drag. And then just move this one. We just kind of want it to be a little bit better of a circle. It doesn't have to be perfect. Do the same thing for this one. Okay, so now we're going to go to Layer, New, Solid. And just leave this at black. So you can put 6 zeros and that'll be the default black. Okay. And we're going to name this Particles. And click OK. And now we're going to move this down. So first, we have our globe outline here. Let's move the whoa. don't know if I can move it. It is locked. Let me see. Can I move it up? Okay, I'm going to move my globe outline up to the top under null. And where's the lock for that? Now I'm going to move my particles down below my globe outline. So just like that, okay? So we have our null, globe outline, particles. Okay, so make sure you have your particle layer selected. We want to go to our effects and presets. So remember, if you don't see that there, you can go to Window and select it. Effects and presets, or Control 5. And here you're going to search particle, and then we're going to select particle playground. And you can double click to put that effect on the particles layer. As long as this layer was selected and you double click, it should have gone on. So you can see, so right now what it has done is given us these little red dots here. So that's what we're going to be messing with. Okay, so now what you want to do is drop down those particles, drop down the effects, the particle playground, and then Canon. Okay. Okay, so now what you're going to do is here on position, you're going to hold down the Alt key and press the keyframe on that position, okay? Then you're going to grab this little squiggly thingy and move it up to the position for null, okay? So now you can see they're following that kind of circle shape that we created. They should be, okay? Okay, over here under Canon, the color, you can change that just so you can see it better to white. If you want a pure white, that's going to be 6 Fs. Okay. And yours may or may not be, but you can see how it is shooting out from here and then also falling down from there. So what we're going to do is create a track mat, kind of like how we did with the cup. So click off, make sure nothing is selected, and get your pen tool. So you need to go back and move that to there. So I'm going to start here at the top. I'm going to come here to the side and I'm going to click and drag it down to kind of get that circle shape. Doesn't have to be perfect. Now I'm going to come down here and click. You can see it already made that shape, so I don't need to drag it really. Then I'm going to come over here and click and drag it straight up to kind of get that circle shape there. And then come connect it there at the top. Then you can always, if you need to, get these tools. To kind of edit that if need be. Do want to leave a little bit of space here. You don't want it to be like it perfectly aligned with the globe. Okay, I think that's fine. Okay, so now we're going to grab this shape layer and move it right above the particles. So now we need to bring up the track mat. So up here is where you can right click, go to columns and select modes, and that'll bring up that track mat option. And here on the shape layer, and again, y'all, it's going to look different because it did last time when we did this. So on the shape layer, it's going to say something like alpha matte, and you're going to select, oh, sorry, doing this on particles, alpha matte shape layer 1. Okay. So now it should be to where the particles are staying inside now, and they're not coming down here and they're not going up there. So now you want to find your snowflake or your snowball layer. Right now it's hidden. Is it? I don't know. Anyway, what you want to do first is right click and pre-compose, and you can name it snowball, snowflake, whatever. I was going to do snowflake. You can leave it here. I'll leave all attributes in snow globe and okay. Okay, so now we will come back. We can go ahead and collapse the particles. Click on the particle layer. And we're going to come and select this layer map. So bring that down. Then you come here to where it says use layer. And pick your snowball or snowflake, whichever it was called. Then we can test that out and see what that looks like here. So it's a little redundant. I feel like my snowball is a little too large. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to double click on my snowball layer here and press S to scale. And I'm just going to scale this down. I'm going to try 75 for now. Then I'm going to go back to snow globe and see how that looks in comparison. I'm going to change that again. I'm going to do 65. Go back. Okay, so now we have to start messing with some of these settings here so that it looks better, right? So I'm just going to kind of mess with it here. And then if it needs, okay, direction, random, spread. That is what we're changing first. Now let's go ahead and change that to 165. Okay, so now we're going to go to the velocity random speed and let's go ahead and increase that to 50. Then we're going to go to the particle exploder. And we're going to change this velocity dispersion to 0. Then we're going to go down here to repel and change those both to 0. Okay, so now back at 1, we are going to go here to our particles and expand that. And we're going to go where it says particles per second, which is right here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to move our playhead back to 25 seconds. So make sure that you're looking here on the left side to get that right. What we're going to do is change this particles per second to 1,000. Then you want to make sure you insert your keyframe there. Then you're going to move it over 1 second to 26. Okay, and we're going to put it back at 0. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off the track mat so that we can see this here. We're going to go over to 109. Okay, so here at 109, you want to click right here just to set a keyframe there. Okay, so at 1, we are going to just click on this add or remove keyframe here to add a keyframe at 1 with this at 0. Then we're going to go to our second marker here. And we're going to change this particle cloud, what is it? Particles per second to 800. Okay, then we'll move it over to 3 and we're going to change it to 1000. Okay, then we're going to come over to, so it ends here at 225. Just go over a couple, so like 227. And we're going to change this to 448. Then we're going to move forward to 313. And change it to 1500. And then at 314, so move over 1. Back to 0. Okay, so now, hold on, let's go back up here. We're going to go to about 104, okay? And we're going to go here to where it says barrel radius. And we're going to change that to 195. And then we want to go ahead and select or click on the keyframe there. Now we're going to move this a little bit before our number 2. So we'll say about 122. Then we just want to insert this keyframe here on the side to hold that in place. Then we're going to move over to 126 and we'll change the barrel radius to 815. Then we're going to move over to about 216 here. And we're going to add that keyframe here to hold that number in place. Then we'll move forward to 221 and change it to 195. Okay, so we're going to go to about 114 here. And we're going to go to the velocity and we're going to set that keyframe there and go ahead and change that to 0. Then we're going to move over to 118 and just set this keyframe there to hold that in place. Then we're going to move over to 214. And change the velocity here to 10. Then we'll move over to 220 and put it back at 0 here. Okay, so now let's scroll down here where it says gravity. We're gonna drop down that, expand it, and we want to find force. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and save my progress so far. Now I'm gonna go back over here to 104 again. And we're going to go ahead and change this force to 450 and set that keyframe there. Then we'll move forward to 108 and put the force at 0. Then we're going to move over to 122 and change this force to 520. Then we're going to move forward to 209. And just insert this keyframe there to hold that in place. Then we're going to move to 217 and put it back to 0. Okay, then we're going to move it to 221 and change it to 2500. So 2500. Okay, so then we're going to move forward to 229. And we're going to change this to 3100. So 3100. So let's look at that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is mess with this force random spread here. So we're going to go to 115 and just set a keyframe here at 0. Then we're going to move to 117 and do 0.4. Then we're going to go to 128. And change it to 0.7. Now we'll go to 201 and set it back to 0. So now what you can do is go back to the snow globe animation part. This is going to show us everything moving at the same time. And then test that. So now that is finally finished. Okay, so what we want to do before we export this is right click here on this gray bar and select trim comp to work area. That's just going to make it so that none of that other area that we left off is going to export. So it's just going to have this on there. Okay. Okay, so what we are going to do, I'm going to go and exit out of this effect control here. So I have my actual animation here is called the Snow SG animation, which is right here. I'm going to click on this CG animation and I'm going to drag it down to right here to create a new composition. Okay, so here's this. Then we're going to go to our composition settings and we're going to make this longer so that instead of creating a GIF, it's going to be a video that will loop. Okay. And we're going to change our duration to 8. I had already changed it to 7, but it needs to be about 8 seconds. And then click OK. Then what you can do is you can make this smaller so you can see all 8 of your seconds. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this. So you can push Control D to duplicate. Then I'm just going to hold Shift and drag this over one. Then I'm going to hit Control D one more time. Select this bottom one, hold Shift and drag that over one more time. And then we can kind of see where that would end. So here at mine ends at 7:15. 7:15. So I'm going to change my duration here to 7:15. So composition settings. And I'm going to see what that looks like after I do that. Okay. Okay, perfect. Yours could be different. It just depends if ours were exactly the same time. Okay, so now we should be ready to render. So we'll go to File, Export, add to Adobe Media Encoder. And again, you're gonna have to let that load up. Okay, here it is. I need to put it back on. I don't want to give. Okay, so H.264, yes. I'm just going to do match source, high bit rate. H.264, make sure you know where you're saving it. I already saved one. Yeah, I'm going to replace it. I'm going to render that again. Okay, so if you're seeing this gray in the background, then it should be exporting as a square. If it's black, then it's not exporting as a square, it's exporting as a regular size HD, which is not what we want. Okay, so now I'm going to open up my file. Okay. Good. Okay, so when you're done with that, you'll turn in this MP4 file.